My name is Charles Wagner. I am the founder of Gramazon.com. It is Monday, March 4th, 2024. And this is episode 23 in our testimony sharing series. Today I would like to talk about the fear of man. The fear of man is your fear that you are going to say things and do things that's going to alienate you from other people. Perhaps the people will mock you or tease you or abuse you. Perhaps they'll ostracize you, marginalize you, not include you in other events and other activities, or perhaps they might even hurt you. And so when we have fear of man, we tend to avoid things that are going to annoy people, are going to tick people off. That can include sharing our testimony. So if you are suffering with fear of man, you are likely to not want to share your testimony, especially if your testimony speaks that there's only one way of salvation, and that is through Jesus Christ. Most people want to believe that they have it within themselves to earn their way to heaven. They don't have to place their faith in Jesus, or that they are proponents of other faiths, religions, or cults, or philosophies. They don't want to believe that Jesus Christ is the only way to gain salvation. And so if you were to share your faith, if you were to share your testimony, you're going to annoy them. And when they are annoyed, they might abuse you in some way, large or small. So this is what the fear of man is, and the fear of man is actually written about in the Bible. A lot of people don't know this. I'm reading from the NIV in Proverbs 29, verse 25. Fear of man will prove to be a snare, but whoever trusts in the Lord is kept safe. So the Bible actually speaks of the fear of man. Let's read this again. The fear of man will prove to be a snare, but whoever trusts in the Lord is kept safe. So in other words, the Bible is saying that when you are worried about what people think of you, you're going to fall into traps left and right. When we really try to be politically correct and say just the right things so that nobody's ticked off with us, we're going to end up getting in trouble anyways. You can't avoid it. Trying to please people is an impossible task. Even if you could please 5 people over here, at the same time, the 5 people over here are not going to be happy with what you're doing, and you still end up in trouble one way or another. It is impossible to please everybody. It's a snare. And not only is it a snare, the fear of man, because you're going to inevitably alienate people, but when you're pursuing the approval of mankind, you are damaging your relationship with God. And that in itself is a snare. The rest of that verse says, but whoever trusts in the Lord is kept safe. Those who move forward and say what needs to be said, because that's what honors the Lord, because that's what's the loving thing to do, to say what needs to be said, the Lord promises that they're going to be kept safe. The Lord's going to protect you, even when people don't like your testimony. Even when people are annoyed that you shared your testimony, God has promised to protect you. So, in conclusion, I would encourage you to examine your heart and see, do you have fear of man? And know that it might be holding you back from sharing your testimony. And therefore, it's a snare in your life. You're being deprived of the blessings of sharing your faith with others. But if you are willing to let go of your fear of man and to put your fear into God alone, God promises you He's going to protect you. All right. God bless.